I am an investigative reporter, and I'm following the Maya and Sebastian case. And I understand that there is an effort to recall the judge, and I'm wondering if they've pulled papers or if they've issued anything formal yet to get the judge recalled.
Oh, I'm not sure, but you're going to speak to the county clerk.
Okay.
I'll give you the number and you can give it.
Okay.
This is Susan Bassi. In California, judges are either elected or appointed to the bench, and once they are, they have absolute immunity for their judicial decisions. But they're also political figures, and they have administrative duties, and I thought I would show you how we go about investigating those issues and how people can deal with judges who are making bad rulings or who are controversial in a community.
Oh, well, good morning, everyone. I'm Rebecca Connolly, and I am a Superior Court judge in the County of Santa Cruz.
This is the Santa Cruz Courthouse and local government building, and it feels very different from the Santa Clara County Courthouse, which is just over the hill about 30 miles away. Here, there are no signs posted about no recording, and because it's connected to the local government building, recording didn't seem to be a problem in this building the way it is in Santa Clara.
Okay, now we're going to go in here. This is the court. We're going to ask them where we go.
On this particular day, we weren't looking to hear a court hearing and observe court proceedings. This is the court security office, which is located in front of those courtrooms. And in Santa Clara, you have to go through the court security office to look at court documents. But in Santa Cruz, the documents are kept across the way from the courthouses in this building.
There's a lady right there. I would ask her.
Okay. You want to do criminal first, or?
Oh, this is criminal and traffic. I just want to know where I access the court documents.
Okay, I'll ask her. Do we ask her?
Or we can go upstairs and try to find the clerk's office. Let's do that.
Okay.
I think it's right there where the red. In here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're going to run upstairs first real quick too.
Okay.
Because this is the DA's office.
There are several types of public records, and it's important to know the difference and to know where to get them. The first type are the records that you get from the court file, and those are records that are filed in the courthouse. They have certain requirements for what has to be on them to file them. They have to identify the parties and the case that the documents are filed in. Then there are court administrative records that you get under Rule 10.500, and those need to be requested from the Court Public Information Officer. We recently found that there were records related to the courthouses getting training on how to have dogs in the courthouse, and we thought we'd give that a try. Court administrative records are also the records that we got to reveal the secret Bar Bench Media Police Committee in Santa Clara, where judges, reporters, police officers, and lawyers were hanging out in a secret meeting and not disclosing the conflicts that were created as a result. And finally, there are records related to the district attorney's office and the local government. Those are records made under California's Public Records Act, and those are requested to the county government that you're seeking the records from. Judge disclosure forms, including a 700 form where they disclose all their financial conflicts of interest and the income that they make, are also public records.
I'm trying to help some other people. I need to know where I would access. I'm trying to teach them how to access court files for criminal cases and family law cases. I have some grandmas that have some overlap and they don't know what to do, and I'm trying to help them with where to find that.
Like, you have docket numbers, you just need to be able to find
We can look it up by name.
Okay.
We have names.
Yeah, so the Santa Cruz Superior Court, they have a website where you can enter information like that, and it'll be
I did do that yesterday.
You couldn't find it.
No, I know it. I know the family law case I need to look up, and then the criminal case I have to look up by number.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering These are people who would be victims of the crimes and they haven't been contacted by the DA's office.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering how they're very concerned because the case was a criminal DUI, repetitive DUI. And so I want to know how I look up the file because I told them I would take a look at the file and see what I see.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to access like information that's in the district attorney's system if that's.
I understand that. I'm looking for the criminal file of what happened with this one case.
So that would be downstairs at the court.
Okay.
In room 120 is the criminal court.
Okay, I needed to know that.
And if they want our contact information, I mean, there's our card.
Okay, I'll tell them.
Email address and everything.
Okay, and then do you have a victim services office in this DA's office?
We do, yeah.
And who's in charge of that department?
So, usually a case gets assigned a victim advocate, but if you wanted to reach out to them, I can give you a form.
When covering criminal cases, it's important to cover the defendants to make sure that they have due process, but also the crime victims. And too often we find too many district attorneys just not bothering to do the job that they get state and federal funding to do when it comes to crime victims. And so we're looking into that, and we're looking into how district attorneys are handling their victim witness programs in every county.
Just mail it back to us.
Okay, and the email on here is where it is? This email?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go over here.
Also in this building are the Board of Supervisors or the local government. And this is where you get information about public meetings, agendas, budgets, and other information, all subject to public records requests. It's also where you go to complain about people working for the county government or issues that you find are wasting taxpayer money in your community.
I am needing to get information on the supervisors. I have some parents that are upset about some things and they need to know how to complain about it.
Okay, do you know who your district supervisor is?
It will be all of them. This is related to the Maya and Sebastian case that's currently going on. And I am an investigative reporter and I just went and saw that the file is sealed. And that's kind of a problem when you have courts sealing something that looks like human trafficking from the family court. So there's about to be some media pressure and I'm doing the investigation of the family law case. So I want to make sure that the supervisors cards, that everyone knows how to get those. And I'm trying to explain the difference between the courts and the county and the separation of powers so they know where to complain.
To clarify, in Santa Clara County, they had a practice of appointing judges to political bodies and boards. They sat on the Domestic Violence Council with other attorneys and people who would be investigating those cases or appearing in front of them as an attorney for some of the litigants, and they never disclosed their conflicts. Particularly, this involved the district attorney's wife, Judge Amber Rosen, who was a member of both the Bar Bench Media Police Committee and of these political bodies. And when we started asking about it after 20 years, suddenly the judges started resigning.
Okay.
You have a website for all the emails where everybody can...
We do, yes. So our website is www.santacruzcounty.us and what the email for all 5 members is boardofsupervisors@santacruzcounty.us.
Okay, and I'm going to film these cards
Okay.
so that everybody who is visual...
City and county governments operate pretty much the same way. They usually have a mayor or supervisors who are elected and put into office. They run the public meetings consistent with the Open Government Acts, and if you need records related to anything involving the county, from the district attorney's office to the office of voters, this is where you go to get the records and the information. It's also where you go to complain about issues that might be related to the courts, including issues related to child support services, the district attorney's office, or the independent defense office, and the public defender.
The office is straight down through the double doors located in the county administrative office.
Okay.
And lastly, there's the coroner's office and the grand jury office. The civil grand jury is usually a group of citizens from your community that operate under the courts. They take complaints from citizens about everything from the dog catcher and the school boards to the district attorney's office. Anything to do with city or county government can be sent to the grand jury. And right now, something that is ripe to send to the grand jury is the issue of the appointment of minors' counsel, where taxpayers are forced to pay these fees for exorbitant charges for these divorce attorneys who are charging to represent children during their parents' divorce case. And when the parents can't afford to pay anymore, then the attorneys are being paid by taxpayers. And so for those who want to file a complaint in their county about minors' counsel, this is how you do it.
This is how you file a complaint to the civil grand jury. For example, if you want to abolish reunification camps, minors' counsel, and other jackasses in our court system, family court system.
And for all the public money that is spent on our public buildings, on art that hangs on the walls, and on the forms and the other information and the staff that fills the offices, sometimes it's hard to forget that what goes on in the courts affects so many of our local residents and citizens. And therefore, it's really important that we pay attention to what's going on in those courts, especially when it affects children and taxpayers and senior citizens, the most vulnerable populations in our communities.
Look, they filed a notice of appeal too. Good luck with that. Travis Karpolka did it.
Eventually, we found the computer that had the court files that we were looking for, and we found that in one case we were researching that the docket had completely disappeared from the court computers, and the court has no comment as to why that would be. And that was a case before Judge Connolly. And then we found another case where she had sealed the file, and in this case it was highly controversial, and there was no legitimate reason for her to seal the file except that she was trying to cover up what was in that file. The First Amendment protects the public right to know, and that means the right to observe public hearings and view public court files. And when Judge Rebecca Connolly was subject to some public scrutiny and public outrage over cases where she was appointing minors' counsel, reunification therapists, and forcing children through private transportation companies into reunification camps to see only one of their parents and deprive them of the relationship with the other parent. We're going to double down on investigating that case. And we've had the documents leaked to us that Rebecca Connolly tried to seal, and we're going to start reporting on what is in those documents and what she didn't want us to see.
Sure.
And the first thing I wanted to do is thank our sponsors. The League of Women Voters and Santa Cruz County Women Lawyers are co-sponsoring this event. It qualifies for MCLE credits, and I'm just so happy to be here. Barbara, I got to address this group not in the context of running for election, but prior to that time, in the context of talking about important issues that impacted, I believe that my talk to the League of Women Voters had to do with constitutional rights, because one of the things that I did do when I was an attorney was practice in federal court. And so I had experience representing people, both the city of Watsonville with respect to excessive force cases, and then I also had the experience of representing political parties engaged in issues concerning free speech.
Try to remember that the very judge that said that she was concerned with representing people for political reasons related to free speech is the same judge that just sealed an entire family court file retroactively when she got a little public attention.